Okay, now I'm going to do a little watercolor sketch of the same jar that I did on day one of a drawing a day. So this will be our launching of a painting of day. We're going to paint in watercolor, sketch in watercolor, the drawings that we do. You're going to learn about color and about how to use watercolor. For this particular exercise, and it's just an exercise for me, I don't know that anybody wants a painting of a jar to buy, but you know, let me just say that over and over again. One of the worst mistakes any artist can do is to get hung up on what they're going to sell. Same thing is getting hung up on what you're going to write, what you're going to do, what you feel you need to do for whatever reason. For my reason is, one, to make these videos, but the overarching reason is that I haven't been doing art for like the last year, maybe 2 years, much, because one, I had a picture book published and then I went into a publicity tour that was just mind-boggling. And then two, I moved at about the same time. So I have been so disorganized and disenfranchised that I haven't been able to do art. I have to be a little bit collected to do art. Not a whole lot, because I never get totally collected, but a little bit. So anyway, back to art, back to the future. Okay, so I use Da Vinci watercolors because they come in large tubes, gives me plenty of paint to make lots of mistakes and throw it away. I have cadmium yellow lemon, and now for a touch of red, which will work toward the purple tones that I'm seeing here, I'm using Opus, which is not your cadmium red. Cadmium yellow lemon is not the same thing as cadmium yellow light, medium, and dark. They work better with different colors. This this Opus is going to work well with this cobalt blue because this is a very faint blue. It's a clear jar, for Pete's sakes, but it does have shadows, and so I'm not going to paint the words and all that stuff. Heck, too much tedium. I'm going to show you how to basically lay in a simple painting that you can, and this is Prussian blue. That's a darker purplish blue, shadowy blue. I also use indigo. I think I'm going to have to order some indigo, but I may have to make indigo today by mixing it. I'm going to start out with this Princeton number 14 long round, Velvet Touch. Okay, here we go. Let's see it. I have to have water close at hand, and I have to have paper towels. Okay, what I'm going to do, the best thing about watercolor is it's quick, it's tentative, and it doesn't tolerate mistakes. I've been talking about mistakes all day today. If you make a mistake in watercolor, you're going to have to live with it or start over. There's no erasing it. I'm going to be very honest. So this is a good, tentative, force you to live with your mistakes medium. I'm going to have to set up another studio. One of the reasons I hadn't painted is I can't find a good studio space. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to start out with a loose watercolor, with a loose gesture in paint. Very, very faint. Now, because I know that this color, okay, is going to work better with some of my palette than the other, I'm not going to hit every little spot, but I'm going to go in spots that I see the most light. And suggest some kind of form. There's some light right there. This is not a good lighting situation because I have light coming from several areas to make the video. And also to see, because I'm getting old and I can't see much well anymore. But we live with it. So anyway, okay, this is the agony and the ecstasy of watercolor. It's tenuous, but it doesn't tolerate mistakes. So there's a lot of waiting. So I pretty much know where I'm going with this right now at this step. And I'm trying not to do, I'm going to go ahead and splash a little bit of yellow out here. Where is, my light's mainly coming from up here because the shadow's over here. So I'm not going to try to get this yellow. It's hitting right here. The light's hitting right there. It's right there. Bounces right there. What I'm going to do is let this completely dry. And you know, that's the hardest part of watercolor for me, is waiting. I'm very impulsive. I want to go on. You go on now, you're going to have a heartache. Okay, I dried it. There's still one little spot. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not move forward. Do not go forward until every little tiny area is dry. If you do, you're going to have a spread, a blotchy space. So I'm going to dry it some more. Be patient. Okay, about this hot press paper, it's fair from Hobby Lobby. It's fair. It's okay for this. If I'm going to do a show enough painting, I'm going to use 300-pound arches, and I can't think of the other brand, but there are two brands of 300-pound hot press paper that I use. I use hot press because there's no telling what I'm going to do on it. I may draw on it. I may, and I just to be sure that I know I have all the avenues covered, I use hot press paper. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I moved from light to dark. If you've followed my blog about the secret garden, you'll understand that light to dark is a major theme with me. And my watercolors move from light to dark. I think that's interesting. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. But anyway, so the next darkest color is this, look at this gorgeous color. This is a true pink. Opus. Da Vinci Opus watercolor. And notice that the less water in a paint, the more saturated the paint is. So anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this Opus pink. Now let me tell you about Opus. It is not cadmium red light. It's not cadmium red medium. It is not cadmium red dark. The cadmium reds tend toward orange. This Opus pink tends toward purple. And as we go along, I'm not going to burden you with too much information. Little information goes a long way sometimes. But never the two shall meet. And I'll tell you about that. That's one of the reasons I'm able to keep my watercolors vibrant, is I know what I can do and what I can't do. Okay, here, I'm going to come down here. And I'm trying to kind of go around, not the first yellow is sort of a glaze. Now I'm kind of going down and making a little darker glaze, because this jar is primarily blue or purple. It's not pink. I see pink in the background that's shining through the bottle. And that's the trick about, you think, well, that's going to be easy. Well, actually, painting a jar is one of the hardest things you can do, because you have to paint not only what's there, but what's behind there, what, you know, the setup. So it's a challenge, but it's something we can handle. You got to start somewhere. If you don't like it, this paper's cheap, throw it away. And you buy Da Vinci paint, you'll have plenty to throw it away, that away too. So what I'm doing, now let me tell you something. Yellow's the lightest paint. White is the true light in watercolor paper. And I've already kind of made a mistake, because when I was trying to make a point a while ago, I kind of got into one of my areas that I should not have. I should have left that totally white. But anyway, one of the themes for today is, you made a mistake, so what? Live with it. Now, I kind of have this set up. Let's see what happens if I come in here and add a little cobalt blue. Cobalt blue is one of the lightest colors of blue. Ooh, that's very intense. But what you're going to find out is that you need to apply your watercolors a little darker than you want them to end. Maybe not that dark. That may be a mistake. Holy cow, what are we going to do? We keep making mistakes. But understand now, I hadn't painted in probably 2 years. So let me make a few mistakes today. Let me learn from my mistakes, and let me start again tomorrow. But if you quit now, guess what? You're not going to learn. You're not going to learn anything for tomorrow. Okay. Now down here, I keep a little spritzer of water, and I don't even see my blue spritzer of water right now. But I'm going to use this yellow water if it'll come out. I hadn't used this spritzer of water for probably 3 years. Yeah, it's working. Let me see if I can get it more delicate. Okay, it's actually a little bit much, but anyway. I need a delicate spray of water. Another mistake. Holy cow, how am I going to live? I will. I'll make it. Figure out where it needs to go. Move it a little bit with your brush and some more water. Leave some white. Don't go whole hog. Soften some edges with water in your brush. Now I'm going to tell you about another, one of the main tools in my two of the main tools. One is paper towel, not because of cleanup, but also because of cleanup. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of that out of there. The other power tool I have are Q-tips. That one has something on it, because that's like a paper towel on steroids. I can actually paint with that. But you gotta know when to hold and know when to fold them. When they get nasty, throw it away. Don't just keep pushing that thing onward. I'm able to kind of erase a little bit, if you want to call it that. Move the paint somewhere else. Now this is where I a lot of times just want to say, holy moly, this is the worst thing I think I've ever seen. I want to quit. no, we're not doing that. This is our mistake to make mistakes. In fact, I've quit for years at a time because I've made too many mistakes and I can't take it. I can't take any more mistakes. But anyway, okay, let me let that dry. And then let's see what we got here. Well, I let that layer dry, and then I wet it a little bit, so it's not totally dry. But this is a mistake. This is a flop. I can already tell you it's a flop. But it's my day. It's the first time I've painted in probably 2 years, and watercolor painting is a type of painting that is created for pixies. You have to have a little pixie dust when you pull off a good watercolor painting. And I'm not feeling my pixie dust. Pixie dust is something you're going to have to acquire. And I'm going to be talking about that in my Looking at Lit Club, because we're going to be talking about fairies pretty soon and about pixies. But watercolor painting is not something you do overnight. I mean, even mistakes and all. It's just you gotta develop your pixie. So today is about developing my pixie, but I've been saying all day I'm gonna live with this mistake. So let's see what we do with it. And it may be that I just use this as the background for a drawing. Okay. This is a micro liner. Now, I hadn't done this in 2 years, so I don't know if this thing's going to work. Another mistake is I started this challenge without any indigo blue. Indigo blue is my best color. So I'm going to have to mix me a little indigo blue. I'm taking Prussian blue and burnt sienna. See how I'm making kind of a black out of Prussian blue and burnt sienna? It'll be fine. But guess what I just did? I went to the Amazon and ordered me some indigo blue watercolor paint. I ordered Daniel Smith because that's the only thing I can get immediately. I'll make another order and get some. But Daniel Smith, it's at least as good as Da Vinci, maybe superior. A lot of people will only paint with. So that's going to make kind of a black painting, a black paint. Let's see what we can do. I'm not sure I can pull this off either. But this is my day. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing a gesture drawing with this little not great. But this is just I'm going to actually come back in there with ink. But this is just kind of my initial step toward, see I'm letting those drops sit. Guess what? That could be a mistake. But it cannot be a mistake too. So it's not going to be a mistake because I'm not going to let it be a mistake. It's not going to ruin my day. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Just keep on keeping on. Good, bad, or indifferent, there it is, my gesture drawing of my jar. There's the jar, and there's the gesture drawing. I said before in a video about making gesture drawings with pencil or with a Sharpie. That one was done with Sharpie. gesture drawings aren't supposed to be perfect. This one's leaning, and I'm going to tell you that right there is will bug me. I'm going to fix that. But they're quick. They're sketches, and this is a sketch. It's not perfect. It's not even good. But it's my first day back into my studio. And what did I learn? I learned a lot of things today. First of all, be sure you have your indigo paint before you start your video. I learned that I need to make this, my little studio space that I'm trying to rig together, larger than it is. I learned that. I already knew that, but it's echoing truer. So I'm going to work. It got me out of my slump. I hadn't painted in 2 years. This painting, although it's not perfect, got me out of my slump. And now I'm painting again.